We're talking running backs here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. Trade rumors around Alvin Kamara are heating up because this guy right here is in the midst of a breakout season. And on top of that, there's some NFL news that has settled in, and there are some teams out there who could definitely use the services of AK-41. Now, before we dive into this, I want to just set the scene here. I want to make a few things clear. I don't want to trade Alvin Kamara. I don't think he's going to get traded. I have been wrong before, but at the end of the day, this is just me doing my job. Alvin Kamara has been heavily mentioned in trade buzz for very obvious reasons. He's a productive player who can still provide a lot of sparks to an offense. And on top of that, the New Orleans Saints are in a position where they are not competing for really anything great. So, in my opinion, we have to at least have the conversation, at least discuss it. So, let me just make this clear. 3 things. I don't want to trade AK. Alvin Kamara obviously wants to retire a Saint. He has never shied away from that. He has been very, very vocal about that point. And I just want to make one thing clear. I'm reacting and I'm responding to the trade speculation. And I'm just giving my take from a Saints fan's point of view. So, if you want the Saints to keep Alvin Kamara, I need you to do one thing. Hit the thumbs up icon and smash that like button. Because I want to see AK-41 be a part of the New Orleans Saints for his entire career. We all want to see that happen. There is a reason to potentially have this conversation because the Saints could recoup some draft capital. But all in all, I think Alvin Kamara needs to retire a Saint. And if you're with me, like this video. So I want to start this video off by kind of going through some of the speculation. Recently, Bleacher Report put out an article for this week, updated trade candidates, top 10 guys that could be moved by the deadline. And if the Saints keep losing games, the trade rumors are only going to heat up, not just for Alvin Kamara, but for other players like Cam Jordan, Chris Olave, Demario Davis, some of those other guys as well. And here's what Bleacher Report said about AK-41. While moving one of their top playmakers would hurt the Saints in the short term, there's a chance he'd be a cap casualty in the offseason anyway. New Orleans is projected to be $18.8 million over the salary cap, and it could save $8.5 million by releasing Kamara with a post-June 1 designation in the spring. And at Bleacher Report, they had a projected trade value of a conditional 2026 fourth-round selection. Right now, the New Orleans Saints do not have a fourth-round pick because they sent that to the Broncos in exchange for Devon Vele with a seventh-round pick as well. And I want to make one thing clear here. I don't know if the New Orleans Saints would make Alvin Kamara cap casualty. I think they would just figure it out financially. He seems like a guy who would probably take a hometown discount just to be able to retire with the New Orleans Saints and stay with the black and gold. But again, this is a conversation that we're having because there is some teams out there that could be interested. I think that the Arizona Cardinals are a team that definitely makes some sense and that will potentially be continued to be linked to an Alvin Kamara trade because they have a couple of guys that are already on the IR in the running back department. James Conner, RIP my fantasy team. Nobody cares about your fantasy team, by the way, Trizzy. Shut up. Just talk football. James Conner. He is on injured reserve with a foot injury. Trey Benson recently placed on IR with a knee injury. So the Cardinals, as they continue to try to compete and continue to try to make a push for the playoffs, they could be interested in adding a running back, especially a player like Alvin Kamara, who could be a massive, massive boost next to Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride, all the other guys on the Cardinals offense. But I think that there's another team that has been linked before that'll continue to be linked, and it's because they're just one of those guys that, it's like the Lakers. It's like the Knicks for clicks kind of deal. The Chiefs. I think that they are a team that also will be continued to be linked. We've heard trade rumors around Alvin Kamara to the Chiefs so many damn times. I've seen the jersey swaps. I've seen the people on Twitter. I've seen the reports on Bleacher, or like the speculation on Bleacher Report, all that kind of stuff. But the Kansas City Chiefs, for what it's worth, they have not gotten much out of their rushing attack, specifically their running backs. Fun fact, Patrick Mahomes actually leads Kansas City in rushing right now. IIsiah Pacheco just hasn't been really productive. Kareem Hunt, really not that productive either. And it's kind of concerning when you're a Super Bowl caliber team and you don't have much juice on the offense. I could see the Kansas City Chiefs operating in the win now mode and trying to add a player like Alvin Kamara or another running back for that matter to boost that offense because we all know that they're going to be trying to compete for a Super Bowl once again. And I want to just make one last thing clear before we put a bow on this conversation for this video. Alvin Kamara trade rumors are not going away unless the Saints start winning games. That's just a fact. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't get mad at me for just talking about it. this is just the situation that the New Orleans Saints are in. I'm simply doing my job. And at the end of the day, I don't think Alvin Kamara will be traded, nor do I want him to be traded. So we're going to talk about Kendre Miller having a breakout season, because if you were to trade Alvin Kamara, maybe you have a guy who could hold it down in number 5. But first things first, got to thank today's presenting sponsor, and that is the #1 daily fantasy sports app in the whole wide world, Prize Picks. This episode of Saints Now by Chat Sports brought to you by Prize Picks. Ladies and gentlemen, you and I make decisions every single day, but over on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss on any of the excitement this season where it's good to be right at Prize Picks. It's the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. If you want to pick more on Josh Allen's passing yards, rushing yards, and touchdowns, now you can pick all 3 of them in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. I got a couple of fun picks for you for this week's matchup, Saints versus Giants. I'm going to go with Chris Olave finding the end zone once again. He did it once last week for the first time since week 3 of last season. I think he's going to do it again because I think Chris Olave needs to be a big factor for this Saints offense if they want to be victorious. And Cam Scatterbo, the dude eats crayons and he scores points. So I'm going to go ahead and project the more on his as well. If you want to fade these picks, if you want to make other picks, I don't really care what you do. Just go do it with Prize Picks. You can also follow other players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click, whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like. Hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. I encourage you to download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. All that information is available in the comments and description of this video. Shout out to Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. It is breakout season for number 5. Finally, we are seeing Kendre Miller emerge in the Saints offense. And I think that he is a player that as this season continues to progress, the emergence is only going to get higher, and the involvement of his usage is only going to get better. And in case you guys were unaware, the New Orleans Saints with Kendre Miller have the most elusive running back according to Pro Football Focus. He has a 155.8 elusive rating according to Pro Football Focus. Basically, the elusive rating, it measures the success and impact of a runner with the ball independently of the blocking. So it's missed tackles forced, yards after contact, on the rushing and receiving opportunities whenever a player gets those chances. It kind of helps provide more complete understanding of the running back's impact through the ability to avoid tackles or power through those tackles and get the extra yardage that they can create. He leads the NFL in all backs for elusive rating. And I'm telling you right now, this is a guy who has been really, really impressive when he's been on the field. The big thing for him has been he hasn't been available. But this year, that tone has changed in a big way. And I think that his usage has been really, really nice so far. But I want to see more. I want to see him get more opportunities. The guy's forced 12 missed tackles, 124 yards, 104 of those after contact, ladies and gentlemen. Are you kidding me? If you can get this guy a push from the offensive line and have a little bit more yardage where he can get downfield and get some steam rolling, oh my goodness, this guy is set up for a bright future in New Orleans. I think this player needs more opportunities. I've been very, very high on him since the Saints drafted him out of TCU, but the big problem is that he hasn't been available, and I'm so glad that he is healthy this year. I'm so glad that he's looking sharp. And in summary, based off the elusiveness, based off the stats, if I had to just put a spark notes on this, give Kendre the rock. Feed number 5. Give him opportunities. He needs chances. He is a game changer. He is somebody, every time he has the ball in his hands, you're like, oh my God, he's about to break away. Like, it feels like every time he rushes the football, you think this one's breaking away. Or you know, all right, hitting the backfield, we're getting at least back to the line of scrimmage because he's that good of a player. He's so talented with his contact balance. He has such great field vision. He's so smooth with his movements, and I think that he plays grown man football to a T. This is a player who, in no question about it, when you have him buckle up his chin strap, put on his pads, and you have him lace up his cleats, he's coming ready to frickin' play. And he's going to hit somebody in the mouth. And he's going to make you pay if you try to line up and tackle him. really, really excited to see Kendre Miller get more opportunities. We've seen him run through tackles time after time after time. And I think that he's a player who, as he grows and continues to evolve in Kellen Moore's offense, we will see his opportunities only get better. So, Who Dat Nation, I want you to answer a question for me. Will Kendre score another touchdown this week? Give me a simple yes or a no in the comment section. And if you want to show him some love, type those 5s in the comments as well. It's his jersey number. That's why we're saying type those 5s. But let me know, will we get another touchdown from Kendre? All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. Fun fact, we will be live later on today, so be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications. More content coming out this weekend, and we will be live on game day for Saints vs. Giants. Hope to see y'all there. Y'all stay golden, and we'll see you next time.